You're listening to Four Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast.
Today is Monday, May 25th. It's Memorial Day. I'm Johnny Kahner. Thanks for watching and listening for Things to Know. Let's get to our top story. Many Minnesotans gathered today at Fort Snelling National Cemetery to honor the fallen on this Memorial Day, and our Jason Rantala was there for that program.
We had a large crowd here at Fort Snelling this morning for those paying respects to those who made the ultimate sacrifice. This year holds extra significance since we're marking 250 years of American independence. Roughly 200,000 or so soldiers are interred here at Fort Snelling. We heard from Commander Richard Middleton with the Memorial Rifle Squad. He spoke about those sacrifices those who served have made, like leaving family and some coming back with both physical and mental injuries, giving their all for our country. Senator Amy Klobuchar was also here paying respects. She says she spoke with Joey Amer, the husband of Master Sergeant Nicole Amer, who was killed serving her country earlier this year.
She was in Kuwait, stationed there when the drone hit their unit, and I talked to her husband Joey this morning, and they're honoring Nicole and going to the gravesite. So there are families like that who recently lost someone all over Minnesota in the last few decades.
The senator was also here paying respects to her own father, James Klobuchar. He was a Korean War veteran. She took a moment today as she laid flowers on his headstone.
Number two today. Today marks 6 years since George Floyd was killed in Minneapolis. And happening today, the Rise and Remember Street Festival will bring the community together at George Floyd Square. Esme Murphy was there prior to the start of the event. Here's her report from about noon today.
Hi, it's Esme Murphy, and I'm doing a story today on George Floyd Square 6 years later. This is 6 years the day that he was killed. There's going to be a candlelight vigil at 8 o'clock tonight, which is actually the time that he was attacked. It's a beautiful day, but it was a beautiful day back then too. 6 years ago, I was here on this day. And it's very sobering to see that. It's a sad place. There's also some controversy about what's going to happen to it. The plans to do something with this square are not finalized. The city has agreed to one way of doing things. City council is feeling a different way. Those things still have to come up, but it was 6 years ago tonight, that George Floyd was killed.
Your third thing to know today, Minneapolis police want your help to find the person who shot a man to death early this morning. It happened just after midnight near 42nd Street East and Columbus Avenue South. That's about a half mile east of 35W. Police tell us they were called to a report of shots fired, and when they arrived, they found a man in the street with gunshot wounds. Now, medical help was also called, but the man could not be saved. Police are now investigating. So far, no arrests have been made. We will, of course, keep you updated. And number 4 today, the Minnesota DNR has a new tool when it comes to sniffing out aquatic hitchhikers. What are those, you ask? Well, they're invasive species. They're using a canine. One of them is named Molly. She was on her first day with her conservation officer partner this weekend along the St. Croix River, and she caught an invasive species before it could even hit the water. WCCO's Uba Ali is digging into this story.
So I'm working on a very cute story today about canine Molly. She's been training with Minnesota DNR's enforcement team, and her job is plenty, right? It's to detect and protect Minnesota's natural resources. Her big find happened over the weekend along the St. Croix River. She was able to sniff out an invasive species. She was able to sniff out zebra mussels on a pontoon. So we're going to be talking a little bit with her handler about how important her job is in keeping and protecting Minnesota's natural resources. That's coming up tonight at 5.
That's a pretty good start to Molly's career. Now let's get a check in on our next weather forecast.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Joseph Dames, kicking off the week with some real heat. It really will be a very, very warm day. We're going to be above average today, like a good 15 to 20 degrees. Highs today for your Memorial Day, topping off at 90 degrees. Through the overnight hours, we cool down back to the 60s. And guess what? We do the heat again Tuesday and Wednesday with highs returning to about 90 degrees.
And speaking of the weather, we know Memorial Day marks the unofficial start of Minnesota summer, but factors like heat and wildfire smoke can put a damper on your plans. The Minnesota Pollution Control Agency forecasts 12 to 16 smoky days with alerts this season. Now, that is fewer than last year, which is good news. But wildfires generally pick up between mid-June to early July. Weather models also predict a warmer than average summer. National Weather Service Twin Cities meteorologist Brent Hewitt says we'll likely be 1 or 2 degrees warmer.
Looking back at the last several summers, even going back as far as a decade, warmer summers are kind of a theme nowadays.
And warmer summers, of course, usually means drier conditions, which means drought conditions could pose a problem. We have new details today on a celebration of life for a beloved Minnesota veteran. Patriotic Kenny will be honored on June 6th in Vadnais Heights. His family said on social media that the visitation will begin at 2 and the service will start at 3. Now, it will be held at Vadnais Heights Commons. You are asked to RSVP if you're going to attend in person. There will also be a live stream. Here's a fun story. This past week, a local sports bar appeared on the national stage for all the right reasons. Listen to this. USA Today listed a bar of their own in Minneapolis as the best local sports bar in the country. Now, a bar of their own is the Twin Cities' first sports bar that's dedicated just to women's sports. They pride themselves in an inclusive and welcoming atmosphere. USA Today called it a groundbreaking spot for its celebration of women's sports. And speaking of sports, let's get to some of those headlines. Listen to this. This is actually crazy. I had no idea. For the first time in 30 years, the Minnesota Twins swept the Boston Red Sox in Boston. Yeah, yesterday it was a rainy one at Fenway Park, but despite the elements and a close final few innings, the Twins got it done 6-5, and they've now won 4 games in a row. The Twins sit at just under 500 on the season. Are you kidding me? 3 decades. Every year the Twins go to Boston to play at Fenway Park since they're both teams in the American League. I just cannot believe it. Boston typically has a good team, but 30 years is crazy. Hopefully they can keep that hot streak going. And let's get to football. I know it's not football season, but it will be in just a couple of days. The Vikings begin the OTA portion of the summertime schedule this week. The first one is Tuesday to Wednesday. And remember, OTA stands for optional training activities, so some players won't be there, though most will. And expect Wednesday to be our first look at Kyler Murray practicing in purple. WCCO's Mike Max, Ren Clayton, they will be out there. Honestly, though, it's always hard to glean into what's going on at OTA since there's no real competition. But it will be fun to see Kyler in purple for the first time.
It's time to take a breath with your Daily Bright Spot.
It was a fun weekend of racing at Canterbury Park in Shakopee. Yeah, 60 English Bulldogs completed races yesterday afternoon, and we talked with one pet owner whose dog, Muffin, was on the racetrack for the very first time.
All the kids really like to come up and pet the dog. Matter of fact, I don't think Muffin has had this much attention.
Muffin's getting all the attention, and Canterbury Park's horse racing season also kicked off this weekend. Live racing is again happening this afternoon, and if you're looking to catch some of those fun dog races, yeah, you're in luck. Basset Hounds, they will have their turn on June 14th. Wiener Dogs take to the track on July 4th, and for the first time, Beagles will get in on the action on August 2nd. Then Corgis, it's their turn August 9th. And the grand finale, the best in show race, will be September 6th. That will feature the top 2 dogs from each breed. Oh my God, just start planning your summer around dogs racing at Canterbury Park. That's so funny. I wonder who's going to win. I honestly have no idea. I don't think it'll be Corgis. I mean, that's pretty obvious. But anyways, you have been listening and watching 4 Things to Know. Thanks for tuning in today. We hope everyone has a safe Memorial Day, honoring those who have given the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.
Listen to 4 Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Maria Lizignoli, and this podcast comes to you from the WCCO Podcast Studio.
I'm Johnny Kahner, and this is where you'll find the latest news of the day with us on 4 Things to Know.
I'm Mariel Mose, and I bring you the stories behind the female athletes redefining the game on women in sports.
I'm Adam Duxter. Join me for a deep dive into faith and what it means to Minnesotans around the state on Bigger Than Belief.
Stay in the know on the go with the WCCO Podcast Studio. Go to WCCO.com/podcasts.